military effort. That's the only way to shorten the war and to save lives. So I think Germany really needs to make a decision on this. They haven't ruled it out today, but they have said they haven't made a decision. Well, I'm absolutely with Radek Sikorski, my old colleague from Poland. There are about 2,000 of these Leopard tanks sitting in warehouses around Europe. Many of them could be brought back into action and given to the Ukrainians. And we're in a situation now where Russia is digging in for a long war that basically the only way they can win is that their missiles last longer than the patience of the West in supporting Ukraine and the resilience of the Ukrainian people. And so we do have to help the Ukrainians now in their, even more, in their own military effort. That's the only way to shorten the war and to save lives. So I think Germany really needs to make a decision on this. They haven't ruled it out today, but they have said they haven't made a decision.
Yeah.
Well, it's really been long enough by now to make a decision.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a year, hasn't it, almost? I mean, could we look back on today as the moment the war was lost or at least attenuated?
No, neither really, because a lot of more assistance has been announced for Ukraine today, and that is very good from many countries. And Britain has been doing, once again, very well in leading the way. So a lot more assistance will arrive, probably not enough to tip the scales. And Russia will continue to find it very difficult to advance. The Ukrainians fight so well and are so well organized. So we can't say this was the decisive day. But it is really time Germany made a decision. It's Putin who has escalated at every stage, not the West or the Ukrainians. And so escalation should not be the reason for not doing this.
Joan.
I think Germany will come round to making a decision. And I think we have to respect their hesitancy because, of course, Germany in the post-war years was very keen to be seen not to be a strongly armed country with a very large military presence at making itself felt. So I think we need to understand why they hesitate, but nonetheless bring pressure to bear on them. I think it's very important that they do, because they hold a license to all these tanks and the armaments that are so impressive. I think we can expect a spring initiative from the Russians. They're clearly getting ready for it. And Ukraine and its friends and allies have to be ready for that initiative. So I think the discussion is in progress. I think pressure will be brought to bear on Germany, and it's very important that they concede.
A perceptive listener has texted in, William. She's called Pam. She says, Hague was foreign secretary at the time the Russians took over Crimea. Why no action then? And perhaps you could enlighten her. And, do you regret that there wasn't action then?
No, very important question from Pam. And of course, we did take action, of course, then, because we imposed sanctions on Russia. But we were in the EU and we had to negotiate all those sanctions. And I remember sitting at the Foreign Affairs Council putting forward a much wider range of sanctions. And we're actually back to the German issue we were talking about before. All of that had to be a compromise with Germany, and all of that was watered down by Germany and other countries who didn't want to take such a hard line on Russia. And I remember saying to them that you've got to end your energy dependence on Russia. Britain wasn't going to let itself be energy dependent on Russia, but Germany, of course, was signing up to another pipeline. So I think we were playing our part, no regrets about that, but that was not the overall mood in Europe, and we were to a large extent bound in with that.